Hello, my name's Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. So today I'm going to talk about early quality versus rubbish really. I've got three pairs of things I'm going to show you the difference between stuff that's like quality stuff that was well made and then the stuff that was like just trying to imitate it but very cheaply. It wasn't so much of a thing in the UK, so that actually the rubbish that I'm going to show you is quite rare. It's probably easier to find the good stuff than it is to find the bad stuff. There's reasons for that and I'll get into those later. But anyway, so this is early glass. I'm talking about the beginning of the 19th century. And yeah, so we're going to compare some mold blown things with some cut glass, and of course it's decanters obviously because that's what I have. And so with that said, I'm not going to show you any references. I'm just going to tell you what the stuff is and you're just going to have to take my word for it. Yes, trust me, you know. Anyway, let's get on and have a look at the glass. So I'm going to start with pillar cut and pillar molding. So I have a few decanters like this I could show you. Take the stopper out. You can see it's really nicely fitted. That would have been polished when it was new, but it's kind of got cloudy over the last couple of 100 years. This is pressed, but this is not molded. This is cut. So they'd have cut grooves in it and then they'd have polished them round. Yeah, and the reason I know is because I can't. When you've got molded versions of this, you can normally feel the edge of the lip of the mold here, where it's pressed in. This doesn't have that. It's completely flat all the way around. And then we'll have a look at this here. So this is pillar cutting. So they'll cut these grooves in the surface and then rounded them all out. You can actually see here the edge where they've actually trimmed the edge down. So this is cut, this base is cut, this polish pontil is cut out too, and then on the shoulder you can see where the cut line is there, and then you've got some step cutting. And then you've got two neck rings which are annulated, which means they've just run a tool around to squeeze the middle out. So you've got it's like a little triple ring. Some people call them triple ring, but I don't like that because lots of decanters actually have 3 rings. That just makes it confusing. So I use the other word that's used, which is annulated. And then you can see actually the top is polished. I mean, there's a little chip there. The edge is polished as well. So that a lot of cutting has gone into that. The fact that they've cut a groove and then rounded them down all the way round shows you how much effort, and it gives this really nice optical effect because on the inside it's smooth. So each one of these is a half cylinder. Okay, so let me show you the other one. Now this, I bought this without a stopper. I've been trying to find one for it, I haven't got one, but yeah, it has got a polished pontil. The base, you can see it's not been polished and it sits nearer on the edge. You can see all the wear is out here on the edges, and it's got a little bit of bruise there. And I bought this without a stopper because I've never seen anything like this. So if you look at the angle here, you can actually see where it's pushed out all the way around. So this is blown into a mold. This is just molded. In fact, you can see here the seam. I'm not sure if you can see a seam anywhere else. Yeah, you can see a seam there and a seam there. So it's actually a 2-part mold. It's got a mold and I can't see one here or anywhere else. So it is a 2-part mold. And you can see on the inside, you can see where it goes in and out. So it has a little bit of the effect, but not in the same way. If I turn that, and it doesn't have the same optical effect as these do, because these are like half cylinders and these are just hollow rounded bits, because you can see, if you look at it from that angle, you can see it goes in and out. Yeah, so this is blown in 2 minutes and this is probably cut in about 20 hours. So that's the difference between them. You can also see a colour difference. This is a bit brighter than this. This is quite dark metal. So yeah, and I've never seen another one of these, but I just saw it and thought and it was cheap as well, because it's just like a piece of moulded glass, but I could tell this is an early moulded glass, and it's even got the neck rings. It's got an annulated neck ring as well. So yeah, it's really, really unusual, because early rubbish is hard to find, and I don't think they made that much of it. So this is two early 19th century spirit bottles again. They're both blown into moulds, but there is a difference, because this one was blown into a smooth mould and this is all cut, and this one has been blown into a patterned mould, and this is just the pattern. So we'll look at the good one first and I'll show you how it is. So you've got these ridges cut around the base. You can see a bit of the natural glass here at the bottom. You've got polished pontal. You can also see a bit of the wear where it sits on the table, because this has not been polished flat at the bottom. Actually, saying that, some of it is, the edges have been polished. Can you see that there? I didn't realise that. I just looked at this texture. That's the natural texture of the mould it was blown into, and then you've got a bit that's been polished, and then they did use a pontal, and that's been polished out too. But here you've got these grooves that have been cut. You've got a little plain bit there, border, and then you've got hobnails that are a bit flattened. And then you have panel cut shoulders. It came with this stopper, and yeah, it does have a chip in it. I think I bought this from Newark, probably like nearly 30 years ago. It does have that big chunk out of it, but it would probably cost almost nothing in the days when you could get good things that weren't great condition for almost nothing at Newark. Yeah, there were so many stands back in the day. And then I have this one. I have a feeling this might have come from Newark as well. And so it doesn't have a polished pontal mark. It's got a broken pontal. There is no cutting on the base to make it sit nicely on the table. You can see the little patches of where it hits the table. And then, yeah, all of this is just moulding. You've got this border here is similar to, can you see the way this one is cut? And then they've tried to make these borders look the same. And then you've got the hobnails, which is just mould blown. You've also got panels on the shoulders. And then the stopper is just a radial bullseye. And there's someone at the front door, so I'm going to stop with that now. There you go. And they're about the same time. Probably 1810 or something like that. So this is the final pair that I'm showing you. And yeah, I've got two barrel-shaped spirit decanters here. And yeah, we'll go with quality first this time. So there you go. It's got flat polished base. It still has the remains of the pontal mark. Can you see? Get the focus. Can you see a little bit of the pontal mark there? And it sits on the edge around here. So it's got wear there. And then it's got these panels. And it's got these ridges. And it's got hobnails. And then it's got panel cut shoulders. It's got a single neck ring which is faceted, and then the pouring lip is frilled, and it's got like a little stonky mushroom. This is one of 3, so I know that this is all good together. And then let's have a look at the other one. So this is different in that, yeah, it's got the hobnail ridges, but then it's hobnail again, not panels. But yeah, the way the differentiation here is, it's got like a little ridge in the middle of it, and that is to emulate. Can you see the ridge in the middle of that little border? So they're trying to make them look the same, kind of. This has got a polished pontil. I don't know if I can get that to show. There's a bit of bloom on there, but you can see the very centre is the original broken bit, but and then it's also got little bits on the shoulders to make it look like it's got panel cut shoulder. But this one's got a pouring lip, and it's got another radially cut stopper, a bit like the square one I was showing you earlier. Now, these are similar periods, and just for the fun of it, I'll bring in another one. Dun dun dun. Which is in a slightly different order, so, but it's kind of very similar. So this is another cut one. This is the only mold blown one here, and yeah. But you've got the ridges here. Then you've got hobnail, panel cut shoulder. There's no neck ring like this one has got, and then this one's got what's known as a pineapple stopper. Again, I think this is one of 3, so yeah, it is. So yeah, I know that stopper's right for it because they've all got the same stopper, and yeah, I've got lots of these, and they've all got this kind of radially cut stopper. Now, I did want to highlight something for you. UK ones are always like this with hobnail, ridges, hobnail. But I've noticed whenever I've seen them for sale on eBay in America, it's ridges, hobnail, ridges. It's the other way round. Yeah, interesting. And you know, I've got weird combos here as well on the cut ones. But yeah, the UK ones I think are always like this, and the American ones are always the other way round. So that's my you can never be 100% because you can never prove a negative that there are none that are like that, unless you actually see one that you know somehow is made in the UK. But all the ones I've seen here are like this, and then whenever I've seen them on for sale in the US, it's the other way round. So yeah, just a little interesting fact deck, and yeah, so that's what I'm showing you, and I think we should wind this up now. So there you have it. I think I've mentioned before, I quite like some of the rubbishy glass. I don't know how much was made in proportion to the good glass, but it seems to be a bit more scarce when I'm looking for it now. You have to remember at the time there was a tax on glass by weight, which made glass an expensive material in itself. So there was a tendency in the UK not to make rubbishy glass. I mean, I have a book on American glass and it's all mouldy, this, that. You know, it's just not the good quality stuff is less in there. You know, there's masses of mold blown decanters even at early times prior to when we would have them in the UK. So yeah, different, and same in the continent, lots of more rubbish glass was made because it was cheap, because the material was cheap. You could make expensive stuff, but the material was cheap, so you can make, you know, cheaper things out of it. Also, I'd like to point out, because something is molded doesn't mean it's poor quality. I'm going to pull something up just to show you. So this is molded. Can you see? It's got a molded body, but look how beautiful that is. Yeah, so that is a piece of art glass, early Victorian, molded surface, but it's still a good thing. This counts as quality glass, even though it's got a molded surface. Whereas those, they're just cheap imitations of quality cut glass. They're just trying to give the look without the cost, without the labor. Yeah. So although the glass itself was expensive, they were just saving on labor costs. And I know labor costs were cheap then. You know, life was cheap and everything back in those days. But that's what they were doing with those things. But I don't know what proportion it was good to bad. I don't think it's as low as it is now. I suspect lots of the cheaper stuff is just, probably by the time you get to 1850, it was binned, you know. People were just chucking it and selling it as for recycled glass, etc., etc. But, and also, it would have been used in poorer households, which probably meant less care was taken and more likely to get broken. So all of that kind of, you know, just because of the situation of their living, you know, that's how I can describe it. But anyway, I didn't use any references for this, but I have shown you some nice, poor quality early glass, just so you see something, it looks a bit rubbish. I've bought other things I'm thinking, that looks a bit rubbish, but it looks really old, and I quite like that. It's just a taste thing, you know. So no references, so please remember to like and subscribe. I will be doing more videos, and yeah, and more than that. And also this weekend I'm going to the glass fair, so pretty soon you're going to be seeing output from the glass fair. But anyway, thank you for watching and have a good night. Good night.